welcome to another Drive-In Double Feature. I'm Ryan,
I'm Nathan.
and this is the podcast where we talk about two movies a week every Tuesday and Thursday. But before anything at all, we have a Patreon over at patreon.com/Drive-In Double Feature Podcast. It's got some fun games, fun conversations between two friends just having a good old laugh over there for only $5 a month. Just some extra content out there that it doesn't affect any regular content at all. But today, we are talking about 1968's Goke, Body Snatcher from Hell, directed by Hajime Sato. Um, I had not heard of this movie until last week, so I uh, I don't know. So do you know how I know this movie? Have I said it
No,
to you at all?
no.
So Nathan, this all goes back to Quentin Tarantino. So
Of course it does.
so do you remember the scene in Kill Bill where the bride is riding on the plane and she's got like the samurai sword, like the sword, and
hmm
it's like this very ominous, like orange sky.
Yep, I remember it. Yeah.
So so when I was watching the behind the scenes to the recent Godzilla movie that we just covered, they mentioned that,
Okay.
and I was like, oh, okay, Body Snatcher from Hell. The title for that sounds pretty interesting. Like, what's the deal with that one? And I saw that it was a horror movie. It was on the Criterion Channel. I'm like, well, it's perfect then.
And Tarantino likes it? Oh my God.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, we're covering this one.
Of
So,
course.
uh, so that's how I picked this one. I'm assuming you don't have any prior knowledge of this one.
I had never heard of this movie ever until you mentioned it for at the end of the episode.
Great. So this one is, like I said, it's a Japanese horror movie, and it is actually very similar to The Thing, probably more so to John Carpenter's The Thing versus the
Perfect.
recent thing that we just covered. So,
Yes.
basically, like the plot of this movie, how it starts is that it's this flight, Japanese flight. They're flying back to, I think they were trying to fly back to Okinawa, I think, or Haneda. Anyway, they're flying to one
Mhm.
of the airports in Japan, and how the movie starts is just like how I said. It has like this really like creepy sky. Like everything is just so
Yes.
orange. It's one of my favorite parts of the whole movie, honestly. Like it looks really cool looking, I thought.
No, I agree. It's very interesting. It gives this movie like this weird vibe because the way the characters talk about the world is that the world is on the brink of collapsing. People are getting assassinated. It's like really bad times. And so you have this ominous sky. It settles you into a mood for this movie.
Yeah, and this movie kicks up right away. Like this movie is one thing I will say about this movie. This movie is pretty nonstop for them. Like
Mhm.
it's there's very little downtime in this
No.
movie.
And I think it's because every character has a backstory. It's like a ragtag group movie with a group of people, and all of them get like plenty of time to shine, plenty of story. The Godzilla movie's gonna learn a little something from this.
Right? So like how the movie starts, the first creepy thing we see is that there's these birds that are basically like killing themselves, like
Yeah.
ramming into the plane. Even in this movie, like you just see like a bird carcass hit the window and just like this blood splatter.
Disgusting.
So and they're just like, huh, that's weird. Like,
Yeah, I think there's one character that's like, oh, birds committing suicide, so they do that too. It's like, okay.
right. And so, I mean, that's when we know right away when something is up, and we start introducing some of our characters, um, where like we have, so we have like the one of the co-pilots, one of the flight attendants, I
hmm
believe.
Yep.
Uh, we also have uh, this politician, and then his, I think, business associate. He's
Yeah,
trying to get a contract out of him.
I think he's some type of weapons guy. He works in some type of military weapons thing, and yeah, he's trying to get a contract with the politician. And he has a wife there that seems
Yep.
very, very despondent to everything, but as we learn pretty quickly, she's sleeping with the politician.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and
There's
we learn all of this pretty quickly too.
there's a college professor as well,
Hmm.
because he's the one that's like the expert in the field.
Yeah.
And then,
Well, he's like a psychologist, right?
yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, because he psychoanalyzes them at some point. I think he
Well, no, no,
hypnotizes
no,
one of them, or am I confusing
no.
two characters?
You're confusing too.
Okay,
There's the weird psychologist that's like, oh, this is a perfect experiment,
that's right.
but there's also like the college professor, the one that's the enemy at the very, very last bit of the movie.
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
So there's that one. And right away, like, so after all that stuff happens, um, we immediately find out that there's a bomb threat for this plane. And
Hmm.
they're like, oh my God, there's a bomb on this plane. Like, what's going on here? And there's only like one guy in here that looks so suspicious. It's
He's
like
like wearing
this,
a white suit.
white suit. He's got like these eyebrows that are like pointed like straight up in the
Yes.
sky.
Yeah. And
Eh,
he has no bag. So this guy's going through checking everybody's bags. And then it gets to him. And he's like, I don't have a bag. And he's like, huh? What do you mean you don't have a bag? He doesn't get time to really mess with it, but you're already like, okay, this guy, there's something weird going on with this guy.
yeah. And they go into the back of the plane, and they actually do find a gun, like a
Yes.
rifle. And they're like, oh my God. And it turns out like it was this guy who was, because we find out too, like there's somebody reading a newspaper that the British prime minister, or the British ambassador, excuse me, for Japan was murdered.
Hmm.
He was like assassinated, and the guy in the white suit was the assassin. So he was basically trying to make a clean getaway. So he had nothing to do with this bomb plot at
Yeah.
all.
And that's what I love about this movie. There's something I love about this like million plot lines that are so all over the place because yeah, he's not even the one who was the bomb threat. The bomb threat was the guy that was talking about suicide earlier. He was the one with a bomb. Which that
Well,
kind of which isn't even like it wasn't a real bomb, right? He just called in
no,
the bomb threat.
he called in the bomb threat because he wanted some attention, basically.
Yeah. Oh, and we forgot about there's an American lady that speaks English on the plane whose
Yeah,
husband died in Vietnam, which was you know that had just happened or it was
she was
ongoing at the time.
right. It was still ongoing. She was going to retrieve his ashes.
Yeah. So she's there to go deal with that. Um, but then the plot takes 180 once again because this makes it feel like almost like a spy maybe plane thriller, like there's a bomb on board and there's an assassin there too and a politician, but then it takes a sci-fi turn whenever their plane crashes, their plane just gets pulled because that's right, the assassin tries to take over the plane.
Yeah, the assassin takes over the plane, and they because he's able to hold everyone at gunpoint,
Hmm.
because they eventually crash land
Hmm.
onto on there onto this looks like very nondescript like type of beachy desert
Hmm.
type of thing. And there's a scene though, so like the assassin has actually got like a hostage. He's able to like put together like the rifle like while he's holding somebody hostage, and they just let him do that, like one-handed put together a rifle. And because the politician, he's like, shoot him, like kill him, and like,
Yeah.
and I agreed with him there. I was just like,
Yes.
yes, shoot
Yes.
this man. But the co-pilot, he's super honorable. He's like, no, no, like I need everyone on this plane safe, type of thing. And
I
of
thought
course,
that was like one of the dumbest things I'd seen in this movie. That whole
yeah,
standoff.
yeah, it was really dumb.
Yeah.
And they're able to break away, and the assassin like runs off with the flight attendant.
Hmm.
She's able to break away from the assassin, but and this is the what you alluded to of this movie taking a sci-fi turn. He walks over, and he sees this orange looking UFO type
Hmm.
of thing. and he gets kind of like in a hypnotic trance, and he's just walking towards it, and
Mhm.
he goes inside, and he's able to get basically they cut to a model head of
Uh-huh.
this guy's head, where and his head just splits open, like a little crack forms,
Yes.
and this silvery looking goo like goes into his forehead, and it seals back up, and he has this gash
Oh yeah.
on his face,
Yeah.
and it looks like something else,
Oh,
Nathan.
it looks like a head gina. That's the best way to
It
put it. Like it
it
is
looks like a
it's
vagina, yeah.
it's huge and like it's like in the middle of his head. They knew what they were doing with this. But
They had to. Like I was
yeah.
like, that looks so
Yeah.
ridiculous.
It is goofy. And that whole sequence is goofy in like a great way where it's the model head and the slime is going into the crack and it's like it's so slow. They last on these scenes forever anytime the goo is leaving or entering the body.
Well, you could tell like they put like goo into the model head and let it drip out, and then they played it in reverse. So that way
Yes.
it's like going back into the head. Which I mean, I for the time period, I think that's pretty impressive. I think it looks decent.
Oh no, I was cool with it. I thought it was a really fun
Yeah.
effect. You really you didn't see, I guess you just don't really see stuff like that back then. So I was impressed by it. I thought it was pretty neat. I think like I honestly wish there was more of these weird special effects because like the birds and then the goo, I could have gone for an all out like gross out like gory type movie. But what we get is still pretty good. But yeah, he ends up taking over, and then we kind of go back to the plane and dealing with all of them. But of course, the girl that was held hostage, she actually gets away, but she saw everything.
Yeah, and she even mentions like all this stuff, and they just act like she's crazy, like, oh, well, what are
Yeah.
you talking about, type of thing, and like they can't comprehend that, and there is some like dissension like on the plane, and Nathan, there was one part where I was so mad at one character because uh they crash land, and she's like they're like, oh, I need some water, like, please, water. And the flight attendant, like, she goes over and like tries to pull on like the dispenser to get more water, and nothing comes out. She's like,
Hmm.
it's empty. And then like the the American girl's like, oh, was that our drinking water? Like, I didn't even realize. Like, she was just like wiping
Yeah,
her
she was
face
watching
down.
her face in the background, like, come on.
I was like, I would hate that person
Oh
like
yeah.
forever. Like if I was on that plane.
What a character too. That character where she just like she has PTSD the whole time because someone gets shot in the head at one point. She's like, "That's exactly how my Johnny died. He was shot in the head in Vietnam." And then
Like
like
she was there.
yeah, and she has like multiple speeches about how war is bad, and then like the movie will play
We
like
get
those.
Vietnam flashbacks. Yeah.
Yeah, we get shots of like dead bodies and, and warfare, but it's like kind of nuts.
It's very shoehorned in, I'll
Oh
say.
yeah,
Like
it's
it's
like we got to have a
uh,
message.
we got to have an anti-war message because it's, the wounds are still fresh from 20 years ago. But uh how the movie kind of goes then at that point is the uh the vampire, like, but the assassin, he's essentially like a vampire like character at this point,
Hmm.
where he just because we do see the psychiatrist, and he ends up falling from like there he ends up getting pushed, I think, like down this hole,
Yeah,
and then the assassin guy finds him, and then you see him bite his neck, like, just
yeah,
his face like turns blue, and he's dead at that point.
yeah. Which I think is like once again the movie takes the weird turn where you don't like now it's become a vampire horror movie because the alien makes them vampires, so they suck their blood out of their neck. So it's like we got another genre mixed in all of this. which I think is a lot of fun because it starts to become he starts turning people, so a whole bunch of different people end up as like these like getting the like becoming vampires and stuff like that, which I think is real. I think that's just a fun idea, a plain vampire movie.
Oh yeah. And I mean, I just love like you said, like just some of the wild turns, like some of the scenes do
Yeah,
like after this plane has crash landed, the politician, he's like kissing and groping like that
yeah,
guy's wife. And the guy is just like he's just like off to the side, like he's fully aware that's going on, but just while they're crash landing, he's just like, oh, you're so beautiful. And you know, she's just kind of just taking it, just like
yeah.
and then we end up having like a standoff between those two characters, like during the business guy, the weapons guy, and the politician, because he's just basically like, it's like you never gave approval for that weapons contract. Like I need you to tell me that you're gonna do it or right now. And because he tempts him because he actually finds like a little flask of water.
Hmm.
And like the politician, the whole movie is just like, I just need some water, water.
Well, yeah, because he gets tricked into drinking like a whole bottle of whiskey. He's so right, or like some alcohol, and it's
I
like
think no,
here.
I think he chooses to.
Oh, he chooses it. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
well,
because
he's
he
like,
drinks it, and then the co-pilot's like, "No, that's gonna burn your throat."
yeah, but like that makes him like even more thirsty, and he's like reaching at his throat to get this water. And that sequence is a long sequence. It's like 15 minutes. This standoff of them yelling at each other about like, tell them what you were going to Japan to do. Tell them how everything you're doing is wrong. Because I guess he's supposed to be like a really great democratic leader, but see, really he's just a warmonger.
And, and he fully admits, like you said, that he's just that guy threw in his wife, like basically like, "Yo, have sex with my wife, please. You know, if that'll give you
Yeah.
if you'll give us the contract."
Which he ends up dying, and then there's that whole speech from his wife who's like, I'm glad he's dead. He sold me as like sold me for sex pretty much, and I'm glad he's gone.
Oh yeah. So there was that one. Uh, there's a lot of scenes though like that where that the assassin guy is going after other people on this plane, and they end up
Mhm.
sucking their blood. Like, uh, there's the scene where uh he ends up because like the politician and the woman end up running into him, and the politician like basically like, no, I'm thinking of the American girl, never mind. But like the assassin does eventually find the weapons guy's wife
Mhm.
and bites her and turns her into a vampire, and then she has like this big alien speech type of thing, or just like, we have come to conquer you type of thing.
And she's like, we're speaking English so you can understand our language, and they're standing on a cliff looking down on everybody. It's neat.
Yeah. And I think like the weapons guy ends up getting shot and dies.
Hmm.
Or no, he gets bit because the assassin makes it onto the plane, I believe.
Yes.
And uh and then all of a sudden, like the widow, like the American widow woman turns into like super like, it's like, no, I want to get out of here. And like she teams up with the politician to kind of go out and sacrifice like one of the other
That's right.
people
Yeah.
to the assassin guy. And she she ends up becoming like the gun person, ends up holding like the rifle. But at, so at there's like this big fight scene between the politician and the American girl versus the assassin, and
Hmm.
the politician's like, oh, I'm getting out of here, and he pushes the American widow like towards him,
Hmm.
and she's like trying to shoot him, but she is such a terrible shot. Like this guy is point blank,
Yes.
and you just see like bullets ricocheting like off the rocks like to the side, and she's like, and then she throws the gun at him, and of course she gets ends up getting bit.
Of course, yeah. And then the movie ends up everybody's bad except for like two characters, which is the flight attendant and the co-captain, which happen to be the most boring characters in this movie. They don't really have much going on.
No. One interesting thing of note, Nathan, is they do so at one point they do catch the the assassin, and they set him on fire, just like in the
Oh, great
thing.
scene. Yes.
And his whole body is on fire, and then you start seeing the goo coming out of his forehead as the guy ends up burning to death.
Hmm.
And then the goo ends up going into the college professor, like I had said before. Like he's the only one that has like some sort of working knowledge of
Yeah,
aliens. But he ends up he's a bad guy too because he shuts the door on the flight
that's
attendant and the
right.
co-pilot at a certain point. So he's not a good guy either. But the goo ends up going into his head, and then um, they're they're able to get like they lure this alien away to like where this rock face are because we saw it early in the movie, and these rocks are tumbling
Yeah.
down and ends up hitting the college professor. And there's multiple shots in this movie, Nathan, where there's a dummy being thrown off of a cliff.
Yes. Yeah. Or just dummies in general. There's a scene where the guy who called in the bomb threat blows himself up, and it's like it's obviously just like this like standy dummy, and it just like falls over with the explosion. Or that one where the dummy just gets thrown over.
The
I
wife gets thrown off the cliff, I think, at a certain point. Like she jumps
Yes.
off, I think.
Yeah, and the guy falls off the cliff earlier in the movie, which you mentioned. All dummies, which is fantastic. They must have loved that in Japan because I'm pretty sure the Godzilla movies also have plenty of that.
Like one of the guys in Godzilla like jumped out of a window to kill himself, and you just see like they actually intentionally show this. It's like a dummy like falling like midair, like like
Great stuff. Um,
uh, but yeah, then how the movie kind of ends though is it turns out they were not that far away from civilization.
that's right.
Um, and they go out and they find all these bodies that have been sucked up already. Like it's just all these corpses lying around everywhere,
Hmm.
and like they've just been sucked dry, like of their blood. And
Hmm.
it turns out, I guess, like this invasion was going on while all their stuff was happening.
Yeah, exactly. Like
And
it wasn't just like an isolated event. It was it was everybody is already dead. Which I think in that moment I was maybe I was a little disappointed because it just felt like a Twilight Zone episode at that point. That just felt like something straight out of the Twilight Zone.
yeah, but I mean, it wasn't something I didn't expect. I kind of
That's
assumed it was
true.
going to be I assumed it was going to be some type of bleak ending because
Yeah.
at the end of the movie, the flight attendant and the co-pilot are just kind of standing there holding each other, and then it zooms out, and it turns out in outer space there's just these fleet of spaceships just all heading towards them.
Hmm.
Um, oh, I didn't finish my fact. So when he dies, there's a reason that happens is because that actor had a scheduling conflict
Oh,
with
really?
the, and he was supposed to go do another movie, so that's why they killed off that character and
Interesting.
had it go into the college professor instead.
Oh, okay. Because I did think that was interesting because that guy had like a very interesting look. Like he would be the villain of the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But overall, Nathan, I was pretty surprised with this one because I mean, I was a little worried that it was going to be either kind of boring, like because we've seen Godzilla movies where it's just been
Hmm.
so dull. Some of these where they're just like a bunch of scientists sitting around like discussing the thought of aliens, or just
Yeah.
like, oh, like should we consider them hostile, or or should we try to be friends with them? I think a lot of those from the 60s um are like that. But this one I had never seen a movie from that time,
Hmm.
that era that was like this, where it's just like completely off the wall crazy like that.
Yeah. No, and I think that's why I appreciated it so much is because I agree. I read Goke, the body snatcher, and I was like, I'm sure it'll be a little bit of fun. But what I got was like something that was just so off the wall, always doing something different, always doing some type of special effect. It wasn't afraid to just be weird. And in 1968, that's just really cool. Like I just think that made me enjoy it even more. So yeah, this one was definitely like I'll put this title on it. It's a hidden gem movie. I think so. I think more people need to watch this one.
Absolutely. I mean, if you love sci-fi or horror, I mean, and this is definitely one you should watch because this is I was pleasantly surprised
Yeah,
because
me too.
I mean, even for a movie shot in the 60s, there was still some stuff in there like I had never seen before. Like, you think
Mhm.
you will go back and watch a lot of those films from those era and it's like, oh, okay, I've seen this type of movie before. But this one I felt was completely different. Like I was just like, oh wow, this is completely new to me. So, I mean, for me, I would give it a recommend. It is definitely one you should seek out of your way to watch.
Yeah, definitely recommend it. It's a cool one. So if you have Criterion Channel, check it out. I know so many of you
Absolutely.
do.
Well, terrific, Nathan. So that's going to do it for this one. But Nathan, what are we going to be covering next time?
All right. Well, on Monday, what? What?
What?
Oh my
I
God.
don't work Mondays, Nathan.
Yeah, hell no. On Tuesday, we are going to be talking about Cat People, the version from 1942, which you can find that one streaming over on the Criterion channel. But Ryan, what are we going to be covering on Thursday?
Well, Nathan, we are going to be talking about the movie The Best of Times, and that is on Tubi right now.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to watch that.
If you have any thoughts and opinions, please email us over at driveandoublefeaturepodcast@gmail.com. Also, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/driveandoublefeaturepodcast, and check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/driveandoublefeaturepodcast. But until next time.
Until next time.